the next piece that that we're going to perform is truly more than a year in the making, and so we got the idea fall a year ago of the thought of commissioning a piece for our students to by a composer just for our school to be performed. And so we got that idea, we started talking about it a little bit more and got a little more excited about it the more we talked about it. And so we contacted Joe Pappas, who is over here. And Joe Pappas, there's a bio in the program that both Kim and I have known Joe a while. She's known a lot longer than I have. And but Joe is a composer here in Missouri, and you can read a lot of the bio there about him. But we contacted him and asked him about doing this, and he right away said, "Yeah, I'll do that." And so we sat down at dinner last fall, probably like October or so, or November. And we sat down and he started asking us some questions about what kind of piece we were interested in. We started tossing around some ideas and things like that. And so that's where it all started. And so then he, I can remember it was at the State Music Convention last January that we got together, and he showed us that first little clip of, hey, this is where I am at this point. And this really starts getting exciting because you're like, okay, this is really cool. And so then we were able to, we had the piece in hand, I believe it was in late February or March. And so with the intent of performing this piece at our world premiere at our May concert. Well, you all know what happened, all right? So the world literally imploded. So we got to this point where we're like, okay, well, we need a plan B. And so our plan B was to, once school got back into session, once marching band was done, that we would premiere it in December. Combination of realizing we needed a little more preparation than time we had, and then we went virtual for a little bit, and we decided let's put this off, to do this right, let's put this off a little bit longer. And that's where we get here. And we've had a really, really cool experience. And it's more than just getting a cool song, in our file cabinet that we can work on, because there's lots of stuff out there you can buy. But the experience of being able to have that interaction with the composer, being able to talk to him about your strengths and weaknesses, and him writing something for that, for the students to know that they're performing something that was initially written just for them. And then we had, last week we had a virtual clinic with Ms. Pappas, and so we zoomed in, and during our rehearsals, both rehearsals one morning, and so we performed. He gave us some feedback right away, and it's also an exciting thing to do. So it's been a really exciting experience and a cool experience, and I know I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope that all these students have as well. On the line at the top of the piece of music, not only does it say, and well, for anybody in the future who purchases a piece of music and performs it anywhere around the world, that it says it was commissioned for the Sikeston band department. It also says it's dedicated to our friend Mr. Ed Cow, who's also here, over here, all right. And we've known Ed a long time. We've known Ed a long time. Some of you have known Ed longer than I have. Some of you in here have sat in his band. And so probably quite a few of you in here have sat in his band, but Ed was a band director here at Sikeston for 32 years, and I believe started in 72. Is that correct? Okay, 1972. Anyway, a thought came to my mind. Anyway, but no, Ed started here in 1972, and when both Kim and I were hired, a little bit later than that. When we were hired, he was still here on staff, and we got to know him. And I'd gotten to know him a little bit before, whenever I was teaching at New Madrid, and we'd had some conversations here and there. But we really got to know each other in my first couple of years here. And Kim came on a year later, and we all got to know him. And if you don't know Ed, he's a great guy. If you sit in his band, you know he's a great guy, and he loves music. And it was great to get to know him and get to really kind of learn from him for those couple of years before he retired. And it's been great to continue to know him and his wife Jackie over the years. And I, Kim was talking about it. It's kind of been, and maybe Kim here, you want to say something too, but our kids swam in their pools, and they've seen our kids grow up from. My sons, who one was here, and both of them were in college. They were in car seats, in those first few football games whenever I started here, and so they've known our kids growing up, and they've just been great people to know, and great friends. And so, do you want?
I was introduced to Ed by Joe Pappas a long time ago, and that's what brought me to Southeast Missouri and interviewed for this job. Mr. Steelman, myself, and Ed fought together for 1 year here before he retired. Boy, was that a year. That was a year. I survived it. Some hospital stays for people, and Ed retired. He came back when I needed him for maternity leave. He had to reschedule a trip to Hawaii. Thank you again, Ed, for the maternity leave. Him and Jackie, his wife, had been like grandparents to our children when we were first getting started here, and we needed help. So they were literally, extra grandparents for our kids. They let me live in their house. I literally found myself homeless. One day I was here. I was right here at the field house, and my realtor called me. It was during our in-services right before school started, and it was a Monday, and she called and said, we're closing on your house on Friday. I said, I haven't moved out yet. I said, my house isn't ready that I'm moving into. And so she's like, well, we'll move it to Monday. So we had one weekend to completely move out of our house, and I called Ed and Jackie and said, hey, can we come live with you? And they graciously let us stay in their basement, myself, my husband, and my daughter, for 6 weeks, I think. But they've done so much for our families, and we just want to say thank you. As soon as Mr. Pappas asked if there's somebody that you want to dedicate the piece to or do an honor of, I immediately said Ed Cowan. We're so grateful to have him in the community. He's very active in Sikeston Little Theater now, and so still doing music things. I hope I can make it as long as he did teaching. I still have a ways to go though. But so to Ed and Jackie, thank you for everything you've done for this school district and community and our families. Thank you. Fabulous. Thank you. Sixth grade, right? So when we started, sixth grade. When I was in sixth grade, let's not talk about how long ago that was. He helped me pick my band instrument as an incoming sixth grader, and been with him ever since in the band world, and great mentor. I'm so happy to be working with you a little now with Simo. He's helping with some of our student teachers this year. So it's been great, and so these kids have had a great experience working with them with this composition. So I'll stop talking now and we'll get to this.
We are recording this. It's not live streamed, but it will be streamed later. We will share the link with you once we get that up and going. And so, if you would like to share that with any family who's not able to hear, you can do that. Well, we are going to debut Sick Breeze for Revenge.
and